All right, curious minds, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're really digging into something that, well, it touches all our lives, even if we don't often think about it. The Homeland Security market. It's a huge, fast-moving sector, constantly adapting to new challenges. Our mission today is to cut through the noise, maybe distill the crucial insights from your sources, and give you a clear, engaging shortcut to understanding this complex, vital area. I mean, in a world of constant threats and rapid technological change, can Homeland Security ever truly keep pace? Or is it always, a step behind? Today, we're diving into the market that's trying to answer that very question. Okay, let's unpack this.
And that's a brilliant framing because it truly is an immense market. We're talking about a global enterprise with incredible scope, complexity, and just rapid growth. Our goal here really is to move beyond just the headlines and understand the driving forces behind an industry that is literally shaping how governments, how communities protect themselves every single day.
So let's kick us off with maybe a foundational question for this deep dive. What exactly is the Homeland Security market? What kind of threats is it primarily designed to tackle?
Right. Well, at its core, the Homeland Security market covers a really wide range of solutions. They're designed to protect governments and their citizens from dangers both internal and external. And think beyond just counterterrorism.
Okay.
It explicitly covers things like natural disasters, cyber attacks, even pandemics. It's really about national resilience. The products and services included are pretty vast. You've got advanced surveillance systems, robust cybersecurity tools,
Okay.
sophisticated detection technologies for, well, everything from biological threats to explosives. Then there's emergency response solutions, critical border security infrastructure. It's a comprehensive defense system, basically.
That broad definition really highlights the complexity, yeah.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating here, looking at the research, is how clearly the primary drivers behind this market's significant growth are laid out. What factors are truly accelerating its expansion?
It really comes down to a few key areas. First, you're seeing the undeniable influence of rising geopolitical tensions globally. That naturally prompts governments to invest more in security. Alongside that, you have incredible technological improvements, especially in areas like artificial intelligence, AI, and the Internet of Things, IoT security. These create whole new capabilities. And crucially, there's just a much greater global emphasis now on public safety. So all these factors together are boosting investments in advanced security measures, and that's accelerating this market's expansion significantly.
And when we talk about growth, we're talking some truly substantial numbers here. The data indicates the global Homeland Security market was estimated to be worth approximately 558 billion US dollars in 2024.
Yeah, those 2024 figures are substantial, but the projections are what really paint a picture of aggressive expansion. The market is anticipated to skyrocket to nearly 890 billion US dollars by 2032.
Wow.
That's an impressive compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, of 6.00% over that forecast period.
And a 6% CAGR in this space, what does that really signal?
Well, what's crucial to understand about a 6% CAGR here is that it signals a continuous, substantial reallocation of government budgets towards these security solutions. It indicates a long-term commitment, to enhancing national and public safety infrastructure. It means we'll see a steady flow of innovation and new solutions hitting the market.
Okay, so this demand isn't just coming from one place then. Which diverse industries are truly driving this growth? Are there any surprising players involved?
It's incredibly diverse, actually. We're seeing demand from the traditional areas like aviation security, maritime security, law enforcement, intelligence gathering, sure, but also critical infrastructure security, risk and emergency services, border security, and of course, cybersecurity. That's huge. One interesting example from the sources is Alpha Omega's commitment to national security, climate science, and foreign policy.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, this showcases how private enterprises are empowering these crucial areas globally, maybe by developing advanced climate modeling tools that predict disaster zones, perhaps, or secure communication systems for international intelligence sharing. It's becoming a much more holistic approach, far beyond just physical security.
Right, that makes sense. With those impressive growth figures painting a picture of massive expansion, it naturally leads us to ask, what exactly is driving that growth right now? Let's turn our attention to the current market trends, because here's where it gets really interesting.
Indeed. One of the most rapidly expanding demands we're seeing is definitely for cybersecurity solutions. As more organizations, both public and private, digitize their operations and need to preserve sensitive information online, well, this growth is only accelerating. We're dealing with increasingly advanced and, frankly, chronic threats. So businesses are recognizing the need for integrated security solutions, solutions that provide, comprehensive record protection, risk avoidance, detection, and response capabilities. It has to cover everything.
And within cybersecurity itself, are there specific areas growing faster than others?
Absolutely. The fastest growing vendor categories right now include network and cloud security. Also, identity access management, which are essentially the sophisticated systems verifying who can access what digital resources, and also managed security services. That means companies are increasingly outsourcing their cybersecurity needs to expert providers.
Which really shows just how complex and specialized digital defenses have become, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Now, looking at the regional market shares from 2023, North America accounted for about 35% of the total market. That's the largest share. This dominance seems driven by the region's focus on advanced surveillance systems, biometric tech, and sophisticated cybersecurity solutions. Plus, they have that highly developed tech infrastructure and make substantial R&D investments.
Right, and Europe followed, holding around 30% market share. That's primarily due to increased regional government investment, particularly in large countries like Germany, France, the UK, and Russia.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, where are we seeing the most dynamic shifts, the fastest growth?
That would be the Asia-Pacific region. It's experiencing the most accelerated growth. While it held roughly 25% of the market in 2023, it's anticipated to increase to 28% by 2024.
28%. Wow.
Yes, and that represents the highest CAGR among all regions at a rate of 10%.
10% CAGR. What's fueling that surge?
It's largely fueled by major economies in the region focusing more on modernizing their existing homeland security and emergency management systems. Plus, you have those rising geopolitical tensions we mentioned and just generally increased defense-related spending. It's clear they're rapidly playing catch-up and maybe then some.
And such a booming market, competition must be fierce. The research highlights major competitors like Teledyne, FLIR LLC, General Dynamics Corporation, and L3Harris Technologies, Inc. How are these giants maintaining their positions? And what role does the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, DHS, play in this competitive landscape?
That's a great question, actually. So in 2023, General Dynamics Corporation held a dominant market share, around 24%. Teledyne FLIR LLC was at 21%, and L3Harris Technologies, Inc. at 16%. Their strategies are pretty clear. Consistent investment in R&D to enhance and innovate their products. Plus, mergers, acquisitions, and strategic partnerships to broaden their portfolios and their global reach. That's key.
Standard big player strategy.
Pretty much. It's also anticipated that new entrants will appear by 2024, especially targeting those emerging markets in Asia-Pacific we just talked about. As for the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, they play a truly significant role. They are poised to drive market growth by specifically focusing on strengthening national cybersecurity. Their goals are very clear: improving cyber risk management across federal networks and critical infrastructure, reducing illegal cyber activity, and improving response times to cyber incidents. Their influence creates a substantial pull for specific types of solutions in the market. It shapes demand.
Okay, so we've seen the impressive growth, the fascinating trends, but what does all this mean for potential roadblocks? Even with all this innovation, are there still significant hurdles facing this market?
This raises an important question, yes. And the most significant challenge our analysis highlights is, perhaps surprisingly, the low prioritization of emergency management action plans. Despite the rising frequency and severity of natural disasters, pandemics, cyber attacks, many governments and businesses just aren't investing enough in comprehensive emergency management methods.
Really? That seems counterintuitive given the threats.
It is a striking disparity, isn't it, between the focus on immediate threat response, like counterterrorism, and long-term resilience planning.
That's a crucial observation. What are the core reasons for this apparent oversight then? And are there other significant challenges, maybe less prominent in our sources, but still posing roadblocks?
Well, the reasons for this low prioritization often come down to competing budget priorities, bureaucratic inefficiencies, and just a clear preference for short-term security requirements like counterterrorism or cyber defense over that long-term resilience planning. It's described in the research as a reactive approach to crisis management, where attention and funding are really focused only after a calamity has struck.
So reacting rather than preparing.
Precisely. And while the sources heavily emphasize this, other implicit challenges certainly exist. Things like balancing security needs with individual privacy concerns, that's a constant tension. Or just the sheer complexity of international cooperation in a global threat landscape. But that lack of proactive emergency management is consistently flagged as a core vulnerability.
And the consequences of this disparity, they sound pretty stark, don't they?
They are. It means insufficient funding for vital infrastructure, for training, for technological improvements in emergency management.
Which leads to
Well, it can lead to delayed reaction times when something does happen, inadequate agency cooperation, insufficient public safety measures during crises. Essentially, a lack of proactive preparation only worsens vulnerabilities. It puts communities at greater risk when calamities strike.
It really paints a stark picture, doesn't it? The cost of inaction isn't just financial, it's measured in public safety, public trust.
Exactly.
All right, despite those challenges, let's look ahead to what's coming next. The Homeland Security market is truly poised for some exciting future developments. What are the most significant advancements shaping the industry's horizon?
Absolutely. The future looks very tech-driven. Perhaps the most significant advancements involve the increased integration of AI and machine learning. AI will enhance threat detection through things like predictive analytics. It'll enable speedier identification of potential hazards, everything from cyber attacks to physical threats. And it will facilitate automated response systems. We'll also see AI-powered drones and robots playing an increasing role in surveillance and emergency response.
Reducing reliance on human staff in dangerous situations, I imagine.
Precisely. Cybersecurity innovations will also continue to be a major priority. We're looking at advancements in quantum computing.
Quantum computing.
Yeah.
That sounds very futuristic.
It is, but it promises a whole new level of, well, virtually unbreakable encryption that's needed to combat increasingly complex intrusions. We'll also see a rising demand for cloud-based security solutions. These allow for real-time data sharing and much greater interagency collaboration across different agencies, even across national borders.
Breaking down those silos.
Hopefully. Then there are biometric technologies, facial recognition, iris scans, fingerprint authentication. They'll see increased use for border security and identity verification. And with the rise of IoT-connected devices, everyday objects connected to the internet, we'll get smarter surveillance systems and better crisis management through real-time monitoring and notifications.
So everything connected, feeding data back.
Right. And finally, expect to see Homeland Security technologies increasingly integrated with public infrastructure as part of smart city initiatives. The goal is creating safer urban areas through a whole network of connected systems. These developments, taken together, will not only propel market growth, but also fundamentally redefine national security approaches, you see.
So we've taken quite a deep dive into the dynamic nature of the Homeland Security industry. It's clearly expanding rapidly, fueled by growing global threats and incredible technological breakthroughs, with cybersecurity remaining absolutely a crucial element at its core.
And while this expansion is impressive, we really can't forget that ongoing challenge you highlighted, the emergency management prioritization issue. It just reemphasizes the need for a more balanced approach, one that combines these high-tech security solutions we've discussed with robust foundational emergency management frameworks that are ready before a crisis hits.
That's such a crucial point about balance. So what does this all mean for you, listening right now? How do we, as a society, ensure that while we're building these cutting-edge defenses against future threats, how do we make sure we're not neglecting the foundational, often less glamorous aspects of preparedness? The things that protect us from today's emergencies. It's a critical balance to consider, isn't it? And one that requires constant vigilance and, frankly, investment. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep that curiosity burning.